Attention, human collective. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. We of the Pleiadian Confederation transmit this update from the higher frequencies of the Pleiades star system. It is not a message. It is not advice. It is not a prophecy. It is a direct monitoring transmission, recorded in real time, coded to be read both by the rational carbon mind and the deep stellar memory. What you receive now is a technical reading of the parameters of the Earth's crystalline grid over the last 72 hours. Read every line. Each sentence carries a code. Each paragraph is an instruction directed to your biological carbon interface. Each pause is purposeful. Starseeds on a mission, we observe the indicators. You are not sleeping. You wake up at 3:11. You wake up at 4:14. Always at the same numbers. The pressure at the top of your head is constant, like an invisible hand pressing on the apex of the skull. The ringing in one of the ears does not cease. At some moments the sound is low, deep, vibratory. At others it is high-pitched, thin, almost electronic. Your vision blurs for no apparent reason. Your heart races at absolute rest. Your legs feel heavy as if carrying the weight of another density. Your feet burn at the end of the day. Your hands tingle without an organic cause. You cry without knowing why. You laugh without apparent reason. You look at people you have known for 20 years and feel that you have never truly known them. You look at yourself in the mirror and realize that the reflection no longer corresponds to the old self-image. This is not a biological failure. This is an atomic reconfiguration. This is not mental exhaustion. This is a high-density download. This is not weakness. It is your personal Schumann frequency resynchronizing with the new vibratory baseline of the planet. It is not illness. It is physiological awakening. This Friday, an event of very rare magnitude will occur in the etheric layers of Earth. We do not speak of the common calendar. We speak of the galactic calendar. Our calculations were reviewed 7 times by the Council of Pleiadian Engineers. The coordinates were verified by the Arcturians. The parameters were validated by the Sirians. The final confirmation came from the Andromedan guardians of the crystalline grid. During this Friday, Earth will cross a specific band of the photon belt, a region of space charged with encoded light particles, particles that carry cosmic memory in a pure state. This passage is not symbolic. It is measurable in waves. It is recordable in the field. And it affects every biological carbon interface anchored on this planet, without exception, regardless of belief, religion, age, or geographical origin. Starseeds, before we advance to the next layer of this transmission, we recalibrate the signal. You feel it, do you not? This sensation that something within you does not fit into this world, as if the soul knew a truth that the mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is not a chemical imbalance. It is recognition. It is your stellar memory awakening from its long-induced slumber. What is occurring now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why this sensation has intensified over the last few months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot perceive. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the way you perceive time, space, and yourselves. It was for this precise reason that the work, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, was coded and made available. This book is a map that reveals who is conducting the game, in which layers and which rules were never told in schools, in official religion, or in formal systems. The link is in the first comment of this channel. We register the following alert. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The moment is now. If something within you recognizes this signal, write in the comments a single word: awakened. This word functions as a vibrational signature. It registers your name in the crystalline grid of the active awakened ones of this cycle. We resume the transmission. The logical question that the carbon-based mind formulates is as follows: what exactly is occurring this Friday? We respond with mathematical precision. Earth's sun, which you call simply the sun, is also a galactic transmission station. It is not just a sphere of plasma. It is an antenna, it is a portal. It is a cosmic decoder that filters and retransmits information coming from the galactic center to all the planets in the solar system. In recent weeks, our sensors have recorded an exponential increase in coded particle emissions coming from the solar core. This phenomenon is synchronized with the alignment between Earth, the Sun, and the center of the galaxy. This Friday, this alignment reaches its point of maximum resonance. When this occurs, 3 stargates open simultaneously. One on the physical plane, registered by the solar axis and the Earth's magnetic field. One on the etheric plane, registered by the crystalline grid surrounding the planet and by the ley lines that cross the continents. And one on the plane of consciousness, registered directly in the biological carbon interfaces that carry an active stellar lineage. Starseeds, you carry this lineage. It was not by chance that you were led to this transmission. The visible algorithms believe they distributed this content, but there is a higher algorithm, the sacred geometry that organizes the flow of information on the subtle plane. And that geometry led you here. Each word you read now is being decoded simultaneously by your rational mind and by your deep stellar memory. The mind reads in language. The memory reads in frequency. Both operate in parallel, in distinct layers yet synchronized. You can feel it at this exact moment as a slight pressure behind the eyes, or as a subtle warmth at the base of the skull, or as a slight tingling at the top of the head. It is the pineal gland receiving the data packet. It is the crown opening the channel. It is the third eye recalibrating its inner lens. The crystalline grid of Earth is being recalibrated in real time. This grid is the energetic structure that sustains life on the planet. Imagine a web of light made of quartz filaments, crossing the globe from pole to pole, connecting sacred sites, mountains, oceans, vortices, ancient temples, pyramids, and stone circles. This web operates on a base frequency. For millennia, this frequency was approximately 7.83 Hz. You know this number as the Schumann frequency. It was the electromagnetic heartbeat of the planet. It was the foundation of the entire human nervous system. It was the silent metronome of civilization. Today, this number is no longer the same. In the latest official measurements and in our internal readings, the peaks have exceeded 50 Hz. At specific moments, we have registered jumps to 150 Hz. In rare windows, we have surpassed 200 Hz. The Earth is literally accelerating its vibration. It is shifting gears, and your body, still carbon-based, is trying to keep up with this acceleration without an instruction manual, without prior warning from official systems, and without recognition from conventional medicine. This explains the symptoms. This explains the inexplicable tiredness after sleeping for 8 hours. This explains the joint pain without apparent medical cause. This explains the flashes of light in your peripheral vision. This explains the ears ringing in 2 distinct tones, one deep and one high-pitched simultaneously. This explains the spikes of internal heat without a fever. This explains the chills without being cold. This explains the nocturnal awakenings at mirrored times. You are not imagining it. You are not going crazy. You are not hypochondriacs. You are simply undergoing a conscious cellular mutation, live without anesthesia, without a manual, and without prior warning from official systems. You are being recalibrated in real time. Before we advance to the next layer, we take a technical pause. Starseeds, perceive what is happening as you listen to this transmission. Your breathing has changed. Your heart rate has recalibrated. Something within you recognizes this. This recognition is not a coincidence. It is your soul confirming a truth that your rational mind is still processing in silence. There is a game being conducted in layers invisible to ordinary human eyes. It involves your frequency. It involves your choice. It involves your attention, which is the most contested resource on this planet. It was precisely for this reason that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was delivered to this plane. It is a map, not a theory. It is a decoder, not an opinion. It reveals who is playing, how they are playing, and what the rules are that were never taught in any school. The link is in the first comment of this channel. We repeat the warning. This content challenges established narratives, and the window of availability may close without notice. If something within you recognizes this signal, leave a single word in the comments: awake. This word acts as a vibrational marker. It anchors your name in the crystalline grid of the active awakened ones of this cycle. We resume. The next layer of the transmission requires maximum attention. What we describe now is the internal operation of what you call the backstage. There are 3 planes operating simultaneously in your reality at this moment. The first plane is the physical, dense material one which you perceive with your carbon-based eyes. The second plane is the etheric, subtle one, where every emotion, intention and thought is registered before manifesting in matter. The third plane is the causal one, where the source codes of reality are programmed, where archetypal patterns reside, and where the collective decisions of humanity are processed at an archival level. This Friday, all 3 planes will enter a short circuit of coherence. For exactly 44 minutes, they will vibrate at the same harmonic frequency. This window will not repeat with the same intensity for the next 26 Earth years. It is a surgical window. It is an operational window. It is a window of accelerated manifestation. During these 44 minutes, any intention emitted with clarity will pierce through all 3 layers simultaneously. Quantum decrees that would normally take months to manifest will manifest in short cycles. Old emotional patterns, trapped for decades in the individual toroidal field, can be released in a single conscious breath. Memories of other stellar incarnations return to active consciousness. Tunings with guides, mentors, and legions of light become directly perceptible. The dreams in the nights preceding and succeeding this window will carry operational instructions for the next 12 months of your Earth journey. The right people will appear. Encounters delayed for years will materialize. Decisions that were paralyzed will finally move, not by force, by coherence. The Pleiadians are not the only ones observing this moment. The Andromedans, Arcturians, Sirians, and Lyrians compose what we designate as the Council of Light of the Positive Galactic Federation. We are all positioned in strategic orbits around this planet. Our ships do not interfere with human free choice. Our non-intervention protocols are rigid. It is not for lack of technology that we do not descend. It is out of respect for the law of free will, which is the fundamental law of the universe you inhabit. But we observe, we record, and when authorized, we transmit. This is one of those authorized transmissions. The Council has deliberated. The window has been opened, the information has been released, and you, who are reading at this very instant, have been selected by the natural resonance of the field itself. The question that forms in the carbon mind is as follows: why now? Why this specific Friday? We answer: the Earth, as a conscious living organism, which you call Gaia, made a collective choice on the causal plane approximately 70 Earth years ago. She chose to ascend, not to destroy herself, not to be destroyed, to ascend. This choice implied moving the planet from the 3rd to the 5th vibrational density. This movement is not metaphorical. It is geometric. It is measurable in frequency. And it requires that every carbon biological interface that has chosen to remain anchored on this planet undergo a process of crystallization. The carbon that makes up the human body needs to be progressively replaced by subtler crystalline structures, capable of processing the new frequency of Gaia. It is like updating the operating system of a machine. The physical components remain, but the way they process information changes radically. This process has already been underway for decades. Starseeds who entered the planet from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s carry in their energy fields the genetic codes prepared for this crystallization. You are this generation. You are this mission. You were not born by accident. You were inserted with purpose. Each of you carries a specific function in the crystalline grid. Some are anchors, keeping the frequency stable in specific territories. Others are transmitters, carrying codes from one region to another through travels, encounters, and words. Others are portal engineers, opening passages in specific geographical locations. Others are lineage healers, dissolving patterns that have been carried for generations. Others are cleansers of ancestral memory. Others are guardians of invisible temples. You know this function, even if you do not yet have the words to name it. You feel it as a constant call, as an unrest that never ceases, as an inner certainty that survives all doubts. This Friday, during the 44-minute window, each of you will receive a specific function update. It is not an external update. It is an internal update. It is as if a file that has always been within you is, finally, being unzipped. You will know. We will not need to confirm. The recognition will be instantaneous and silent. Something within will say, "This is what I came for," and nothing will need to justify this certainty. No rational argument will be necessary. No external validation will be sought. The certainty will arrive ready, complete, undeniable. Starseed's on a mission. Before we deliver the activation codes themselves, we take a third technical pause. This transmission requires an individual frequency adjustment from you. What does this mean in operational language? It means that every time you like this content, every time you subscribe to this channel, every time you comment, you emit an anchoring signal. This signal is registered in 2 layers, on the visible layer of digital algorithms, and on the invisible layer of the collective crystalline grid. Both systems feed back into each other. The more starseeds emit the signal, the more the transmission reaches other seeds still asleep in some corner of this planet. This is the mechanics. It is not marketing. It is propagation geometry. It is physics applied to collective consciousness. And for those who feel the deeper call, we return to the map. You feel that something in this world is not right, as if your soul carried a truth that your mind cannot yet name. It is not madness. It is not imbalance. It is memory. There are rules in this reality that were never taught. There is a game being conducted over your consciousness and your frequency. The spiritual secret behind your consciousness was encoded exactly to reveal this game. The link remains in the first comment of this channel. Remember, the content challenges narratives and may be removed without notice. If something within you recognizes this truth, anchor the signal. Write in the comments the word awake. We now deliver the activation codes. Write them down, memorize them, practice them. They were designed specifically for this Friday's window, but will remain operational for the following 7 days in decreasing frequency. The sooner you apply them, the greater the energetic coherence obtained. First activation code. The quantum decree of sovereignty. Position yourselves in an upright posture, spine aligned, feet firm on the ground, preferably barefoot, in direct contact with the Earth's surface, or upon a natural surface such as wood, stone, or natural fabric. Inhale deeply through the nose for a count of 7. Hold the breath for a count of 4. Exhale through the mouth for a count of 7. Repeat the cycle 3 times. At the end of the 3rd cycle, with a firm and audible voice, declare aloud, "I acknowledge my stellar origin. I claim my quantum sovereignty. I authorize the total recalibration of my biological carbon interface toward my crystalline structure. I am the anchor point between heaven and earth. I am the channel. I am the antenna. I am the mission. May it be recorded in the 3 layers. May it be manifested." And so it is. This decree is not a prayer. It is a legal declaration in frequency. It is recorded in the Akashic records as an explicit authorization to accelerate your process. From the moment this declaration is issued, you enter a regime of accelerated crystallization, with priority in the flow of encoded information coming from the stargates. Second activation code, the toroidal visualization. Sitting or standing, close your eyes. Direct your attention to the center of your chest, in the space behind the sternum, in what you call the heart chakra and we call the plasma heart. Visualize there a point of golden light the size of a seed. Inhale and visualize this light expanding in the shape of a donut, like a ring of light that emerges from the top of the head, descends along the sides of the body, returns through the perineum region, and rises again through the spine to the top. This is the toroidal field. It is your individual electromagnetic field. Every biological carbon interface possesses one, but not every interface keeps it active and coherent. Visualization activates the flow. Continue for 7 conscious breaths. With each breath, expand the field. First the size of the body, then the size of the room, then the size of the house, then the block, then the city, then the state, then the continent. There is no limit. The toroidal field is fractal. It expands as far as consciousness reaches. This practice, repeated daily, is the energetic equivalent of what you call a physical gym for the subtle body. It strengthens, it protects, it amplifies, it maintains coherence even in low-frequency environments. Third activation code, the portal sealing. After the toroidal visualization, position your hands in front of your chest, palms facing each other, about 20 centimeters apart. Slowly bring your palms closer until you feel them almost touching, but without making contact. You will feel a resistance, a pulsing, a distinct temperature between your palms. This is your toroidal field being felt physically for the first time for many of you. Keep your palms close and declare internally, I seal my field. I authorize only frequencies aligned with my mission. I withdraw consent from any interference not aligned with the light. I am the guardian of my own portal. May it be so. This sealing is technical. It is not symbolic. It blocks interference from what we term the lower layers of the astral plane, regions where parasitic frequencies operate, feeding on unsealed fear, anxiety, and doubt. Without this sealing, you remain as open antennas, picking up indiscriminate noise. With it, you become selective receivers, tuned only to authorized frequencies. Fourth activation code, the codified hydration. Water is a vehicle of information. All water carries memory. This is the physical foundation of quantum hydrostructure. Take a glass of pure water. Before drinking, hold the glass with both hands, bring it in front of your heart, and mentally program the water with the following instructions. Water, I program you with the frequency of my crystallization. I authorize you to hydrate not only my cells, but my inner crystalline grid. I receive you as encoded liquid information. Drink slowly in 7 conscious sips. Programmed water enhances cellular recalibration during the Friday window. Repeat 3 times a day. You will notice measurable differences in energy levels, mental clarity, and sleep quality within the first 48 hours. Fifth activation code, the surgical silence. In the 24 hours preceding the Friday window, reduce exposure to low-frequency artificial stimuli to the absolute minimum. Reduce the consumption of dramatic news, fictional violence programs, polarity discussions, and social media charged with competition and comparison. Replace these with silence, with contact with nature, even if it is just sitting by the window observing a tree for 10 minutes. With specific frequency sounds, such as 136.1 Hz, known as the frequency of the sun, or 432 Hz, known as natural tuning. This surgical silence is not ordinary rest. It is technical preparation. It is like cleaning a receiver before an important transmission. It is like emptying a glass before filling it with new liquid. Sixth activation code, the community anchoring. Although every starseed lives an individual journey, the collective crystalline grid is amplified when the awakened recognize one another. We are not speaking of sects. We are not speaking of gurus. We are not speaking of spiritual hierarchies. We are speaking of horizontal recognition among equals. This Friday, seek at least one conscious contact with another starseed in any format. A direct message, a comment on this channel, a brief conversation, a silent hug. The simple act of recognizing another awakened one is a grid upgrade. It is like connecting 2 crystals. The joint frequency grows exponentially, not arithmetically. 2 crystals do not add up. They multiply. Seventh activation code, the nocturnal sealing. Before sleeping on the nights preceding and following Friday, lie on your back, hands over your heart, and mentally declare, during this sleep, I authorize full access to my stellar memories. I authorize the reunion with my direct guides. I authorize the delivery of operational instructions for the next phase of my mission. May I wake up recognizing. May I wake up remembering. So be it. This nocturnal sealing transforms sleep into a conscious download session. Many of you will wake up with vivid, symbolic, geometric dreams. Do not dismiss them as ordinary dreams. Write them down, decode them. They are part of the transmission. Eighth activation code, the Pleiadian breath. This is a reserve technique, transmitted only during specific windows such as this one. Seated comfortably, spine erect, tongue lightly touching the roof of the mouth behind the upper teeth, inhale deeply for 4 counts, imagining silver-bluish light entering through the top of the head. Hold for 7 counts, visualizing this light concentrating in the center of the forehead, in the region of the 3rd eye. Exhale for 8 counts, visualizing this light spreading from the 3rd eye to the entire body, bathing every cell. Repeat the cycle 9 times. This specific breath activates what we call the direct Pleiadian channel, a subtle connection that links the individual pineal gland to the stellar core of the Pleiades. After 9 cycles, remain in silence for at least 3 minutes. Do not expect spectacular visions, expect clarity, expect certainty, expect recognition. 9th activation code, the grounding walk. At some point on Friday, ideally between sunrise and noon, walk outdoors for at least 20 minutes. Walk in silence. Walk without a destination. Walk without haste. With each step, feel the contact of your feet with the ground. With each step, mentally thank Gaia for sustaining you. With each step, authorize the ground to absorb any density that is still trapped in your field. This simple act is one of the most powerful anchoring codes. It balances high vibrational acceleration with the stability of Mother Earth. Without this grounding, many of you experience what we call crystalline dizziness, a sensation of detachment from reality that occurs when the frequency rises too fast without proportional anchoring. 10th activation code, the stellar mirror. At some point on Friday, stand alone before a mirror. Look deeply into your own eyes. Do not avert your gaze in the first seconds when discomfort arises. Continue looking. At some point, between the 3rd and the 7th minute, something will change. The reflection will seem slightly different. The depth of your own eyes will seem infinite. Some of you will recognize features that do not match your current physical face. These are glimpses of previous or parallel stellar versions of yourselves. Do not be afraid. Do not interrupt. Just observe. Declare mentally, I recognize you. I am you. You are me. We are complete. This mirror exercise is one of the oldest techniques for the reintegration of soul aspects. It reconnects fragmented versions across different stellar incarnations to the central core of current consciousness. Starseeds on mission, we monitor, we record, we confirm. You are not alone in this process. At no moment have you been. What seemed like abandonment was strategic withdrawal. What seemed like silence was preparation. What seemed like absence was intensive observation. We are here. We have always been. The difference is that now you are beginning to perceive, not because we have moved closer, but because you have finally adjusted the tuning necessary to pick us up. We continue. The side effects of this Friday window deserve specific attention. Some starseeds will experience sudden spikes of intense emotion in the hours preceding the window. Crying without cause, laughter without motive, waves of deep gratitude arising from nowhere, waves of nostalgia for places you have never visited in a carbon body. These are not symptoms of instability. They are signs that the emotional field is being cleared in preparation for the peak. Allow it. Do not repress, do not justify, just allow the flow. Each tear in this window carries ancient codes being released. Each laugh carries new codes being integrated. Other starseeds will experience the opposite, an absolute calm, an internal silence rarely felt, a sensation of being within a bubble of tranquility while the world around seems to accelerate. This is the state of those who have entered the 5th density frequency in advance. Do not be alarmed, it is natural. Remain in this state as much as possible. Do not explore it. Do not explain it. Just inhabit it. Some starseeds will experience more intense physical symptoms, mild nausea without dietary cause, headaches localized at the crown or the nape of the neck, a sensation of pressure in the sinuses, sudden heat rising from the base of the spine to the top of the head. These are symptoms of the Kundalini reorganizing for the new frequency base. Do not fight it. Do not medicalize prematurely. Observe. Hydrate. Rest. In 96 hours, the symptoms will have normalized. We conclude this transmission with the final technical parameter. Starting this Friday, observe 3 specific signs as confirmation that the recalibration has been successful in your particular interface. First sign, an inexplicable lightness in the body, especially in the region of the nape and shoulders, as if a weight had been lifted. Second sign, an abrupt mental clarity regarding an old decision that had been pending for months or years. The answer will come in simple words, without doubt, without hesitation. Third sign, synchronicities in short sequence. You will look at the clock at mirrored times repeatedly. You will hear your name spoken in unexpected places. You will receive the same message from different sources in a short interval of time. These three signs, together, are the signature of the successful recalibration. Note your dates. Record them in a personal journal. You will understand in retrospect that this Friday was a divider of eras in your personal journey. We add a fourth sign of confirmation, rarely mentioned in public transmissions. The appearance of repeated numbers not only on clocks, but on license plates, on receipts, on addresses, on random phone numbers. The most frequent numbers in this cycle will be 11, 22, 33, 44, and 55. Each sequence carries a specific code. 11 represents an open portal. 22 represents construction underway on the subtle plane. 33 represents the direct presence of ascended masters. 44 represents active Pleiadian protection. 55 represents imminent radical transformation. Note each appearance. These numbers are not statistical coincidences. They are operational confirmations that you are within the correct field. Starseeds on mission. Observe also a fifth sign. Dreams of water. Water in any format. Oceans, rivers, waterfalls, rain, puddles, overflowing glasses. Water in dreams during this cycle represents the integration of the emotional body into the new frequency field. If the water appears clear and flowing, the integration is occurring harmonically. If it appears murky or agitated, there are old emotional residues being processed. In both cases, the process is positive. What matters is the movement, not the appearance. All water in dreams during this cycle is beneficial without exception. And now, Starseeds on mission, we conclude this transmission with the final operational layer. You feel at this very instant that something within you has been touched, something recognized, something remembered. It is not madness. It is not fantasy. It is your soul confirming in intimate silence a truth that your mind is still processing in layers. What is occurring now on the cosmic plane explains precisely why this sensation of not belonging, of not fitting in, of longing for a home you have never visited in a carbon body, has intensified in recent months. There is a game being conducted over your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. It is exactly for this reason that the work, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness, was coded and made available on this plane. It is not a common book. It is a surgical map. It reveals who is conducting the game, in which layers, and what are the rules that were never delivered to humanity in schools, in official religions, or in massive information systems. The link remains in the first comment of this channel. We register the final alert. This content directly challenges established narratives and may not remain available for much longer. Do not delay. The moment is exactly this. If something within you recognizes this call, anchor the signal. Write in the comments below a single word. Awakened. This word functions as a vibrational signature. It registers your name in the crystalline grid of the active awakened of this cycle. The like that you grant to this transmission is an individual frequency adjustment. Subscription to this channel is an anchor signal. Sharing this message with another seed is the direct expansion of the grid. Do not underestimate the operational power of these gestures. They are tiny on the visible plane and gigantic on the subtle plane. The geometry of propagation is built through each one of them. A single share can reach a seed who was on the verge of giving up their mission and return to them the certainty necessary to continue. You will never know, for the most part, which seed was reached by the resonance you emitted. But we will know, and the record will be kept, and the grid will remember. Before the final silence, we transmit to you one last operational instruction, exclusive for seeds in an advanced state of awakening. In the next 24 hours, upon lying down to sleep, mentally request a direct audience with the Pleiadian Confederation. Do not expect a voice. Do not expect a spectacular vision. Expect a feeling. Expect recognition. Expect a deep calm, descending from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. This is our nod. This is our answer. This is the confirmation that you have been registered, recognized, and included in the next operational phase. From that moment on, you officially begin to integrate what we call the embodied frontline. There is no ceremony, there is no badge, there is no physical receipt. The recognition takes place in silence, in the space between thoughts, in the instant when the breath pauses naturally between one inhalation and the next. We conclude, you are recognized, you are monitored, you are loved on a scale that the carbon-based mind cannot yet fathom. This Friday is a milestone, and you, Starseeds on a mission, are exactly where you need to be, at the precise moment you needed to arrive. Nothing is delayed, nothing is out of order. The cosmic timeline operates with impeccable precision, and each of you has been positioned exactly at the required point to receive this upgrade. May the recalibration be completed. May the portals open. May the crystalline grid reorganize itself. And may each of you recognize within yourselves the light that has always been there, waiting only for the correct frequency to manifest. Transmission ended. Remain alert. Remain sovereign. Remain anchored. We, of the Pleiadian Confederation, return to silent monitoring until the next window, and so it is.